Hey, I'm Sean,
Hi, and I'm Shannon.
and we're the host of Wifey and Baby Mama. We thank you all for joining us again this week, and we welcome you, as well as all of our new listeners, to this week's episode titled Uncle Daddy. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, but no, that's not the Uncle Daddy we're referring to. Not the new
Heck
mom,
no.
not the not the new man mom is dating, and she tells the kids it's their uncle and ends up being their stepdad down the road. Not him. This is a family show now. We're referring to the brave uncles of the siblings' children that also double in the role of dad. For whatever reason, whether it be real fathers or mothers don't show up for the kids like they should, they're not involved in their lives, or either parent may have passed away. Or in some situations, the person may not know the real father of the children. Sadly, it's people in all these cases and scenarios that apply. And the how and how the uncle arrived to the title Uncle Daddy isn't the focus of our show tonight, as we're not in a place to talk about people. Situations from the outside looking in can be judged either way, and we're not here to do that. We just wanted to highlight the brave men out there who stepped up to the plate
Yeah.
when they didn't have to. And keep in mind, this show is largely about the ins and outs of the woes and the woes of blended families. And an uncle is most certainly an important part of a child's family. And some will say, that's family. That's what we do, and that's true. But this episode is dedicated to the ones who go above and beyond.
Yeah. And so many uncles are the only father, to some of these children.
So true.
Um, Especially single mothers who have a son um that need a father figure. That uncle steps in, or the mother's brother steps in and really um provides that guidance and all the things that we as women cannot. As good as we are, and a lot of us say, oh no, I'm a strong black woman, I'm a strong black woman, I can do this. One of the things I did notice with my own son, being a strong black woman, when you're overbearing, your son can come out a little weak. So
Mm-hmm.
I needed to step back a little bit. Probably didn't step back enough, but I'm grateful that he did have an uncle daddy that could say, hey, Shannon, this is
Yeah.
a man right here. This is a man right here. Quit being the overbearing, hen pecker that I was,
Right.
helicopter mom. I was all of that. So having a man step in and say, hey, let me help you out, sister. I was
Right.
grateful for that.
And right. And even like you said, sisters with brothers. But in my case, with one of my daughters, it was her father's brothers who, if he was out of town
Hmm.
or when he moved away, her father's brother, hey, we're having a cookout today. Bring her over. They still wanted to see her. They still wanted to make sure she had that male figure in their life, and that's what this show is dedicated. And I know quite a few men, Shannon, who step up when their brothers or
Yeah.
sisters have
Yeah.
children and they either need help or
Right.
the uncle may just take on the role as dad in the absence of the father on his
Hmm.
own. But tonight, I especially want to highlight my older brother, Bruce. Now, I'm sure he's not the only Uncle Daddy in the world, like we said, that holds the
Yeah.
title. But until I get concrete proof that there's anyone that has ever done it better, I'm going to say he's the GOAT. And I say that with a straight face, and not because he's my brother. But I tell you not a word of lie, Shannon, when I say he's not even 50 years old yet. In fact, he's younger than me. But he has raised and been a father to, I would say, over 25 kids. And that's no
Oh my
exaggeration.
goodness.
I know my mom had 8 children, so I think she's on maybe 52 grandkids now. And over half of
Okay.
them, he stepped up single handedly. But over half of them have fathers involved. And he stepped up single handedly to get those kids raised, especially the boys. And I know he has been a father to those kids. And we're not even going to count the ones outside of the bloodline. I mean, even my oldest
Mhm.
daughter, when my
Mhm.
husband was away for all those years, and then my second daughter, who I just talked about, whose father was right here in Buffalo at times, but just decided
Mhm.
he choose when he wanted to be a father. My brother stepped
Right.
in every time. And
Okay.
I mean, just for that alone, he's a man through and through. He's a country boy like my father. And they just don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
I of course invited him to come on as a guest, guys, on our show, but he's a little shy, he politely declined. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean, he's like most men in my family. They're very quiet about what they do, Shannon, but never slow to give
Mhm.
and show up, especially when it comes to
Oh.
their family. And it's even passed on to my baby brother. He in turn followed his big brother's footsteps. When it comes to the kids, especially the boys, my baby brother he's the goat of taking them into football games. He signs them up for football. He'll make 5 trips to come get these kids because there's a lot of them to make sure they're at football practice. Yeah, take them to the park,
Mhm.
basketball events, whatever. And those kind of uncles are appreciated, man. And I mean,
That's
my hats off to
right.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, hats off to him. That is awesome. We appreciate, the men that do that when they don't have to. There's nothing that says you need to step in here.
because you're
For
an
them to,
uncle.
for yeah, because you're an uncle. So for them to have it in their heart, that is just beautiful.
It is.
Absolutely beautiful. And one thing I want to double back to because I know my family's listening and they're going to say, wait a minute, we know your brother. He didn't help you. When I was talking about who was helping my son, that wasn't my brother.
Yep,
And I
it
can
was
hear people
it was
laughing.
his father. It was his father's
Well, it was
brothers
two. He had two. Yeah. So he had my sister's husband, my brother in law, as well
hmm
as his uncle in
on his
Chicago.
dad's
So
side.
your brother
Okay.
in law. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
brother in law.
Well,
Yeah.
your brother-in-law, my brother-in-law. The
Right. Right.
blendation is all up in there, but yeah, both of them. And
Yeah.
Shannon,
Yeah.
not all cases of them showing up for the kids is that my sisters and I wasn't willing, or you wasn't willing,
Oh,
the
yeah.
uncles.
Right.
It's just that they know certain things. Like you said, women can't teach boys. And I know with
Right.
my brothers, they ensure that all the kids are good. Don't get me wrong. But especially when it comes to boys, they are quick to step up and be like, I got this. And since my one sister's son is now 19 and maybe 20, he wanted to move out. My sister's like, no, you're not ready. And my brother was like, move to the side. I got this because his father has not been around his entire life. And my brother is literally raised a boy. And you know what? She respected his wishes because as a man, he
Mhm.
talked to my brother and said, Uncle, this is what I'm ready to do. I'm with this girl. I don't want to be in my mom's house. She works, I worked. They moved out. They did their own thing. And my brother's like, you got to let him go be a man. Like, we've raised him. Now
Mhm.
you got to let him make his own decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel this topic. Go ahead, Shannon. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and how hard was that to
Right,
follow
right. To
that?
just
Yeah.
to follow that and she
Mhm.
respected that because he has been in the boy's life since literally he was born. So you can't ask for help and then in turn not listen to the advice. So she was
Right.
good for listening and taking his advice, and he was good in saying, hey, sis, I know you birthed him, but literally I
Mhm.
raised them. So it works both
Mhm.
ways. And I feel this topic is so important to highlight, Shannon, and I know you do as well. Because when it comes to the lack of showing up and responsibility, all that leads back to the brokenness of families from a young age. I know
Right.
that's certainly the case in my family. When there's no
Mhm.
guidance, solid examples to follow, you kind of just do what you see, go with the flow.
Mhm.
And I
Yep.
know we
Yep.
repeat this, and I know we repeat this so often on this show, guys, but we want to make sure you really understand the basis of this podcast. It's time to
Mhm.
stop repeating these cycles coming
Yes.
from brokenness, divorce, poverty, poor
Mhm.
decisions. It doesn't mean you have to stay and remain in the grips of those generational curses that have been passed down. It's time to heal
Right.
so we
Time
can
to
grow
heal.
healthy. So we can grow healthy, happy families. That's what we're here for.
Mhm.
And come to a time where Uncle Daddies are a bonus and not a
Mhm.
necessity.
Right. Yep. Nice bonus.
Nice bonus,
And
but not, I don't need my brother to raise my child because, whatever
yeah.
the case may be.
Right. Right. Yep. And there may be situations too where the father is in the picture, you know, um,
Absolutely.
but there is still, your either your brother or brother-in-law or someone that can even add that extra. Just like if you got, your mom and your aunt in your life, it's
Yeah.
okay to have more than one father figure if even if your
Yeah, that's
father is
next
in
week.
the picture. Oh, that is?
Yeah, that's next week.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. But you're just making an example. Like, I'm sure. It's
Yeah.
more that, it's mom, aunties in cases where you prefer to talk to your mom than your auntie. But yeah, like we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But
Right,
I
right,
just
right.
I just think that's really important, and I chose my brother, not because he's my brother, like I said, and my family specifically for this topic, because a lot of my siblings, including me, was influenced and followed a few negative paths, more than a few with some of us when we were
Mhm.
younger, including
Oh, yeah.
getting into, staying in toxic relationships we shouldn't have been in, having babies out of wedlock, all of that. And it just
Mhm.
becomes normal, and you say, well, that's okay. It's always how it's been. When
Yeah.
the fact is, it's not okay. I applaud my
Right.
brother. He was not perfect by far
Mhm.
growing up. And he pretty much raised himself in the streets because my dad and stepdad were always working. So he took
Mhm.
it upon himself to become a man and raise not only his biological kids, but what they say in the obituaries, a host of nieces and
A
nephews,
host
okay?
of nieces and nephews.
A
Yes.
host of them. Now, y'all know my
Beautiful.
silly side. My silly side hard to contain, I'm sorry. But this is serious business, The level of
Yeah.
maturity that he had to rise to provide and care for all those
Mhm.
children, it was not taught
Mhm.
to him, Shannon. That's my point in this piece. It was
Oh,
not taught
yeah.
to him in a traditional day-to-day basis like he's instilling into
Mhm.
his nephews and nieces.
Mhm.
You know, he taught himself. He chose to be a
Yeah.
man of value and honor to those kids
Mhm.
because I think he wanted to give them what no one else was given to him on a daily basis, which is love and attention.
Right. It's like when we talked about, oh, I can't remember the topic, but we talked about how, mothers being natural or innate nurturers. It sounds
Yes,
like your brother was also innate nurturer, and
exactly. That is
yeah,
such a
and we
great
talked,
point. Yep,
yeah, yeah, and we talked there about there
exactly.
are exceptions,
And
that
he's an
men can
exception.
be a nurturer as well. Yeah, he sounds like a wonderful nurturer,
And
and
like
I'm
I like
sure he has impacted so many, of the
of
kids'
kids,
lives. Hmm.
absolutely. And when you talk
Yeah.
about, you refer back to the last show that we spoke about that. That's what I go to in saying he's a natural nurturer, but also he had a kid at like 14, 15. I think I can't remember the exact
Hmm.
age. Could have been
Yep.
16. But because I think of the life he lived, it was important for him to pour into his own child. And then he just
Yeah.
began to just resonate throughout the children being born because I think, like I said, he realized like I miss this having a dad. Like I wasn't
Hmm.
taught this. So he took it upon himself to teach all the boys in our family. And like I said, the girls too. The girls are just super spoiled. That's what's wrong with them. I don't know. We might have to work on him with that a little bit. But the boys, I mean, honey, when he has his own company, like he put up bounce houses, and every time he has an event, he go grab all those boys, making sure they work as men. They know how to work because that's a lot of
Ah,
what's wrong with our society today. These men are babied
exactly.
by either women
Mhm,
or their moms, however it go, and
mhm,
they just have no work
mhm.
ethic. So he's
Right.
even girl, he'll get to 7 and 8 year olds. Come on, we're going to put up a bounce house. This is what you do. And I think that is just, I mean, I can't say enough about him. I don't
Mhm.
make the whole show about my brother, but it is. I'm just referring
It
to
is.
someone I
Yeah.
know. I mean, like I
Uh-huh.
said, I know it's
Yeah.
plenty of Uncle Daddies out there, but I just can
Yeah.
go in on the one that I see every day and that I just have to applaud, man.
And we have to
Especially,
applaud him,
yeah,
and
and, and,
we
and
have
your
to
people.
tell him. Oh, yeah, and we have to tell him we do wish he would come on.
Right.
If he'd be brave enough to come on.
He's like, I'm not doing that. That was his answer. So I'm like, after two X, I asked professionally and I asked, brother, I want you. And he's like, get out my face. So that was like the answer. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah, he's
well.
so shy. He's not doing that. But I'm telling you, it would probably be easier to get one of our husbands to come on. And that's not happening. But
I know.
I
I know.
tried. I tried.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just want everyone to know, when it comes to the title of Uncle Daddies, our point is stepping up. Our hats are off to you. Like you said, Shannon, you had a
Mhm,
brother-in-law and then uncles on your father's side.
mhm.
They're not paid to do this. They're not asked to do
Right.
this. They just
Yep.
naturally step in. And summing up this title, we want you to say to keep doing what you're doing. I know sometimes it gets
Right.
straining. I know it gets straining, but just think of the value you're adding to those kids' life and your own by
Mm.
showing up.
Yes. You are appreciated, and we want to recognize all the Uncle Daddies out there.
all the uncle daddies of the world. We know we should start a holiday for the uncle daddies.
Yeah.
It got to be separate from Father's Day because it's really not the same.
Right, right.
We got to start an uncle daddy holiday because you guys are doing your thing and we love
Yeah,
it. All
yeah.
right. Well, I'm gonna move
Hey,
into my red line segment for tonight.
hey, red lines.
This red line segment is titled "That's Your Brother, Not Your Man." Okay.
Mm.
And it focuses on you ladies, fellas. I'll get to you next week, except we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this one is specifically for the ladies, and I promise we're gonna get to you guys next week. So ladies, don't feel attacked, but I really want you to listen up. If your brother is stepping up and helping you clean up the mess you made by having children irresponsibly, don't throw dirt in his face by having him constantly clean up your personal problems too. Don't
Mhm.
insult the person helping you by expecting them to carry your load, paying your bills and dealing with all your drama. We all need help. I've needed help at times. I still need help sometimes. But show your appreciation by raising your own children and just letting the uncle add to those manly touches that we can't teach as
Mhm.
women. Adding your bills, like I said, or asking him to babysit because you want to go to the club or spend the night with your friends, to me is disrespectful. Let me
Right.
tell you that even the nicest person has a breaking point. And if your family
Mhm.
has stepped up to help, respect that and let him be your backup and not your backbone. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, you made a decision to have a child. Don't weigh him down with your kids and your drama and problems while you continue to live your best life. And that's my red
Excellent.
line topic for tonight, Shannon. What do you think about that?
Oh, right. Oh, I think that's wonderful. Because we do see that a lot, where women will, rely on that, whoever that male figure is in their lives as their man, meaning, can you help me pay this? Can you take me here? Can you do that? Um, it does become overwhelming, I'm sure, to them, but they don't want to say no because they're attached to that
The
child.
child. That's right.
Yeah. So I think we have to be careful. But also when we're young, we don't think it's clearly. So we're here to help you all, young folks, 20s, in your 20s, 30s, or whatever, to think about the person that is helping you and to appreciate them more than you use them.
That's a fact because
Yeah.
I thought about that red line topic because I'm like, as honorable as it is, it has to be draining too, especially like I said, when they have their
Yeah.
own families, right?
Yeah.
So it
Right.
has to be draining. So, like you said, not here to judge, but we're throwing it out there
Mm.
to try to guide the younger people to say, don't overdo it, don't overstep. And
Yeah.
then, or if that person
Yeah.
says, no, I'm tired tonight, then take that for what it is. Don't be offended because we have to
Hmm.
remember that we had those kids. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If it was a time when I mean, something as small as my daughter needed milk, and I live in Buffalo. Well, you don't live here anymore, but
Hmm.
it was a snowstorm. I did
Hmm.
not want to go out, so I called my brother. I'm like, "Could you bring her some milk?" And I heard it in his voice, and he said, "Yeah, I'm coming." And I said, "You know what? I can just get dressed." He said, "No, I'm not going to let you leave the baby." I could clearly hear the frustration. I can clearly hear that he didn't want to come out, but he also
Um,
respected the fact that I had a new baby, and I don't want my sister out, in the snowstorm with the new baby. I just
right.
appreciate
Right.
those kind of things. So I'm not going to call
Yeah.
him every day now. Well, he went out
Right.
yesterday, so let me send him today to get diapers.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
just got to be mindful. When you got a good support
You
system,
too.
don't break it down. Don't wear it
Right.
out and appreciate it.
And appreciate it. Now, I do have to throw this in there. You just triggered something in my mind with my
Okay,
uncle daddy, my
let's
brother-in-law.
go.
Now, I used to call him all the time. You remember when you first came to Charlotte, the house I lived in,
Hmm.
I used to get something would kill, or I guess it was my dog, would kill animals like possums and things like that. And I'm deathly afraid of dead animals. So I
I am
would
too,
call him
girl.
for that. It didn't have anything to do with my son. I was just like, "Can you come get this dead possum, this dead rat, this dead whatever was in the yard or blocking my way out the door?" So yeah, I did have to use Uncle Daddy for something other than my
But you know
son.
what? But that's not. We're not saying don't use them. Some I could tell him, hey. I'm cooking. I'm in the middle of cooking. She don't even have to be home. If you're in my route, bring me a pack of
Yeah,
spaghetti. I
yeah.
thought I had one. I don't have one. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't ever use them or ask them, not use them,
Mhm.
ask them for favors or assistance other
Mhm.
than your child. I'm just saying, like, don't overdo it. In your situation, you're
Right.
scared of dead animals. I guarantee I'm not touching no dead animal. So if I caught my brother for that, he wouldn't be like, well, it ain't got nothing to do with the baby. He would come get the dead animal. I mean,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
brother-in-laws and
Right.
brothers that serve roles other than Uncle Daddies. We're
Mhm.
just referring
That's
to the
true.
title of
That's
Uncle
true.
Daddy.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, I
Yeah,
don't see
yeah.
that as being abusive at all.
Good. I hope he didn't either.
Well, if he's listening, he'll know now.
Yeah, he will. And I'm sure he's listening.
All
All
right, so where
right.
are they gonna send them
Excellent
red
red
submissions?
line. Yes. So, for you guys that want to win a $100 gift card or the chance, I'm sorry, the chance to win a $100 gift card, we ask that you submit your red line submissions. Anything that you think of is a red line. It doesn't have to tie to any topic that we are talking about. It could be anything. If you want to submit them to wifey and baby mama at gmail.com, you have a chance to win a $100 gift card. Now, we will pick a winner every third or announce the winner every third Thursday of the month. And when we announce that winner, they will receive their $100 gift card. So please submit them. We look forward to reading them. We enjoy them.
And I just want to, I'm sorry, Shannon, jump in and add
Oh,
really
yeah, go
quick.
ahead.
Just like you said, you can submit. It doesn't have to be on the topic. So with that being said, we have been lucky so far. I guess blessed. We've only had two though. We have been blessed so far to have one that we picked that we
Yeah,
can kind of tie into our topic. So I'm just, giving fair warning because we're a little later into the show. I don't want anybody to be like,
right.
they ain't got nothing to do with what they talking about. If we happen to pick one and it's not
Yeah,
related to the topic for tonight, like don't jump on us. That's just how it goes. So, like I
right.
said, the first two are really good, and we haven't had that
Hmm.
many because we're a new show. So
Hmm.
we've been lucky. I don't know what
Yes.
July may bring,
Yeah.
so I don't want you guys to be
Right.
like, well, that
Right.
ain't got nothing to do with that topic. So it could be on anything. We're gonna play
Hmm.
fair. So if our topic is on
Yeah.
gold mines and we pick out one about swimming pools, that's what we're reading. So I
Hmm.
just want you
Right.
guys to give you that's a silly reference, but you get what I'm saying. So sometimes the,
Yeah.
the red lines may not line up, but y'all, when I'm doing them, I'm gonna hook y'all up. So don't worry about it. I'm gonna stay creative. But if we pick it out the hat, we gotta go with the flow. We play fair.
Right. That's right. It is what it is.
It's what it is.
All right. So now we will go into the segment we like to call the fictional family I'm feeling. All right. The fictional family I'm feeling tonight, they are the Macs from the Bernie Mac show. Everyone knows that infamous Uncle Daddy.
Yes.
He's great, and even based off his real life, of course, it was. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. But
Rest in
um,
peace, King.
he took on his sister's three kids after I think she had a drug problem. I can't remember.
Yes, I think that's what
But
it was.
yeah, so him and his wife took those three young kids in and raised them. So you see them, you know, from very young growing up. And this particular episode tonight is when the daughter, the oldest daughter, is a cheerleader, and she wants to impress, I guess, the people that are at this new school that she's at with her moves. And so they're at a basketball game, and of course Bernie is there, ready to see his little girl cheer. It's like, oh, that's my girl. She's about to do her thing. And they're doing, your regular wholesome cheers. She's doing what everyone else is doing. Then she decides to break it down like she's hot, twerking at the club or whatever she was trying to do, popping and doing all kind of stuff. Bernie, he didn't care that it was in the middle of the game or all these people around. He went and snatched that little butt off the floor and said, "No, we're not doing this. I don't know where you think you are, but this ain't going on." And I'm like, that is a true Uncle Daddy because he
Absolutely.
marched her butt out of there, and he had every right to because, even if she wasn't living in his house, even if
He's
he
still our
was
uncle.
just visiting. Exactly, exactly. And I appreciate the fact that he didn't, turn an eye and say, yeah, look at her. Hope she don't end up on the pole. Anything, he went and grabbed
Right.
her. Yeah. So that
And
is
if
the fictional family I'm feeling.
that is wonderful. And if she did end up on the pole, it wasn't going to be because of him. He was going to do
Right.
whatever he could to deter the behavior. He wasn't
Yep.
encouraging it.
Yep.
And a lot of what goes
Hmm.
on, Shannon, is what I spoke of earlier. It's a great fictional family, by the way. Man, you nailed it tonight. But you nail them almost every night, though, every episode.
Almost.
Almost every. No,
Almost.
well, we both almost we getting there. But that no, seriously, that was really good. And it goes to what we were saying. It goes back to generational people saying, had he sat there, well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
kidding you. I'm not saying this for the show. I'm not saying this for entertainment. Most of what I mean, we'll make a joke or two, but 98%
Hmm.
of the things that we refer to during our show is facts. It has happened. We know
Yeah.
of it. We're
Yeah.
speaking of our own lives. And those are both of my brothers, all four of them. Actually, I have two down south and two here, but I see the two here more. But that's their MO. If the nieces, Shannon, I am a 47-year-old woman. Don't let me get too low to the floor. They'll come tap me on the shoulder. I'm like, excuse me, I'm married with 4 kids, and my husband is over there. Baby, they'll come tap me real quick. So it goes back to what we allow. Now, again, we can't stop the
Yeah.
kids from being who they are. You can't stop
Right.
them once they're grown and gone. But
Hmm.
as of right now, ain't not one girl in my family got to worry about twerking while those two in the room. They run all the parties. I mean, like, move back. Like, the grown women can't
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
So I totally
Yeah.
get it, and I can totally relate. That's why I'm like, that's a great
Hmm.
fictional family, and he did what he should have done. Doesn't matter that the world dances like that. It doesn't matter that it's
That's
acceptable to
right.
some people. It was not acceptable to him,
Hmm.
and him raising her and being
Yep.
Uncle Daddy, like you said, whether he was in the house or not,
Hmm.
gave him every
Right.
right. So
That's
great,
right.
great job.
Yes. All right. So that brings us, I guess, to the end of our show. We hate to leave you, but we gotta go.
We gotta go home. It's been a long day.
Yeah. It's been a long day. So, until next week, we look forward to speaking to you all again, hoping that you glean something, even if it's just entertainment. We hope it's a lot more than that, but if that's all you get from us, we'll take
Just
it.
get
As
something
long,
out of the show.
yeah, as long as you're listening.
That's right.
Yes, and you can find us on all platforms. So wherever you get your podcasts, look for us, and like, share, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're there.
Twitter. We
Oh,
out
Twitter.
here.
We're out here. All right. So we will sign off and say goodbye until next week.
Love you all. Goodbye.